Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show all about dreams and their meanings. I'm your host, Michael Sheridan, and it's my mission to set the record straight about dreams. Our show is live on Mondays at noon Pacific time on YouTube. Audio only is also available on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. You can send your dreams to the show at dream-analysis.com, and please do. They truly are the lifeblood of the show. The upgrades to my website continue. It's gone through several renovations since I first launched it in 1996, but I really like this one. It finally plays well on cell phones. Many of the older pages need to be restored to my blog, but I've started adding new entries. Each day there are new entries all to do with dreams and psychic development. I've recently started adding the top 10 dreams over the last few days, so each day I'm dropping something into the blog on that. So please check it out at dream-analysis.com. Before we start, I wanted to let you know that Heidi Brooke will be talking about her mediumship work, including demonstrations in the Resonance Performing Arts Centre in Bellevue on October 17th at 7 p.m. It's free, so you have no excuse to miss it. Details are also available on my site with links under this video. The theme for today's show is how dreams show what is blocking your abilities. Totally vital information that you'd pay thousands to know, and your dreams give it for free. I'm just going to take it easy and interpret the dreams you've sent me. I got 2 dreams with an unusual symbol, so I'm going to cover that symbol as our symbol of the day. Here we go. The symbol is lighters. And lighters allow us to see in the dark. We hold them in our hands, so it's all about getting a grip on your intuitive ability, which is what candles, lights, lamps, and all those various different things mean. So we have a few different meanings, though, depending on how the lighter is depicted. We like the idea of it, for instance, at a concert, holding it up, and that would be about getting in touch with your channeling ability because of the theme of the music at the concert. But there are other sides to lighters that, remember, when dreams show you a symbol or show you what's going on in your life, it's typically something that's not working well. So you could, for instance, have an addiction that your dreams are saying, look, this addiction, whether it's coffee, it's smoking, whatever it happens to be, is blocking your intuitive connection, and there's something you've got to do to fix that. And of course, we know lighters are connected with these two. So that's our symbol. And I'm going to use it in a couple of dreams coming up. But first, I want to have a look at my own dream. I don't have it written out. I just have a note here saying to do it. And this is going to demonstrate how dreams show you what's blocking you. And so too did the other dreams that I've selected for this week's show. The dream is titled Out of Control Vehicle. And so yesterday when I sat down to work on the dreams for the show, so I look at them over a period of time, and so the day before the show is typically my big day to get ready. And I was looking at particular dreams, and I was finding it difficult to get a connection that gave me a clear meaning on the dream. So the way it works for me is I look at dreams. First of all, I get into a kind of meditative state, and in that state I can get a strong connection with my higher self, and I get what the dreams mean from that. It's just very clear for me. I'm told, well, it's more through a feeling. It's like, this is exactly what it's about. And it's quite often it's what I'm already thinking what the dream is about, but it doesn't have to be. And so I know that it's there, and I get a confirmation, yeah, you've got the dream right or whatever. But yesterday when I was looking at dreams, I was getting a quick insight, but then I was saying, okay, well, it couldn't be that. And my logic was taken over. And that isn't usually the way it works. So logic taken over and saying, okay, well, it probably means this because of X, Y, and Z. And I figured it out after a while that no, that the initial flash was working, and that's what I needed to go with. So that puzzled me, even though I prepared for the show and I said, okay, I'll have a look at those dreams again this morning, which I did for the last few hours, and really get what they're about. But it puzzled me all the same. So my question going to bed in my mind was, what is causing the block in the connection, because I've been eating really well, making sure I ask my guides about any types of foods that I do eat. Now I can cheat, so I asked Heidi as well what she thought it was, and straight away she said, you ate cheese. Now I did eat cheese, but I asked my guides, was it okay? I'm vegetarian for the most part, and she said that I asked for a particular type of cheese, but they put American cheese on a vegetarian burger that I asked for. And that was true, that did happen on Friday. And when I got the burger, I thought, this doesn't look like cheddar cheese, but I ate it anyway. So interesting, she got that. And then last night I had this dream, which gives the same information. So basically, and because I don't have it written out, but I'm going to try throw up the symbols and analyze it as I go through it. So it started off, I was driving a 4x4 truck, a 4-wheel truck, which is a good thing in a dream because they've got great traction and you can go off-road with them and all that sort of thing. So they're really a good symbol in a dream. So I'm driving that, but the roads are covered in snow. Now snow is in dreams is the symbol for dairy and dairy issues. And I do have dairy issues, which is why I always ask, can I have the cheese? Because sometimes my guides will say no. So anyway, the dream is immediately on point, saying, look, there's a problem here. And in the dream, well, let's put up the first set of symbols. So I'm driving towards a T-junction. And T-junction is, because you have to turn left or right, you have to stop your vehicle and turn left or right. It basically means you've got to change direction. So where you're going, in my case, with regard to my connection and with my dream work, I can't just keep moving forward as it is. And that's something I already know. So I've been changing things, moving the show around, as you know, trying to hit a sweet spot where everything is easy. I can do the dreams and it doesn't take me too long, and I can do a show every week and at the same time promote my work. So anyway, this dream says that you're moving to a T-junction, so you've got to change direction. And the traffic lights are a good symbol in this context because they're saying, okay, because they're lights, they're symbols of light. They're saying, okay, you're going to be told when it's appropriate to turn. But in this dream, I was approaching the lights and I couldn't stop. So I couldn't slow the car down, and I knew I couldn't. So I kept control of the car rather than pressing the brakes and skidding all over the place. I applied them gently and I went slowly through the intersection forward, and I went off the road and down a steep incline that was covered by patchy grass that was covered in snow. And the patchy grass, it tells us it's about the heart because of the grass, but also because you can see the dirt on that part of a trail. It was a trail people walked on. It's also about my elimination system. So it's saying the dairy, or the wrong type of dairy, affected my elimination system. And that in turn obviously is what had affected my connection. But anyway, we see more here. Going off the road isn't bad. Two young men came to help me. So in the wall, where I went down, there was a wall to my right-hand side. That's another symbol for the heart. But there was an opening in the wall because, like I said, it was used for people to walk and get into a housing estate that was there. So these two young men came out through the opening and offered to help me. So this was actually the way it was working. So even though there was a block, the wall being the barrier, and the intuitive connection works through the female side, by the way, which is why we have the wall in the dream. So we have the barrier there, but my guides, which is what the two young men represent, were still able to get through to me and give me help. But in the dream, like an idiot, I say, it's okay, I'll be able to get back onto the road. And I never do that. When your guides show up in the dream and offer you help, always take it. So I reversed the car up the incline, and I was able to do it. It was a powerful car and it had really good tires and good traction. And the guys were impressed with the traction, so that was good, also good in the dream. And I ended up getting back onto the road, and I drive in reverse because I came up really fast and I was reversing, and there was lots of traffic on the road. So I get onto the road and I get onto the correct side of the road. So I'm on the right-hand side of the road, driving really fast and looking out as it can only happen in a dream. I'm able to turn around and the steering wheel is still in front of me, and I'm able to look out the window and see where I'm going quite clearly. And I say to myself, when I get a break in the traffic, I'll turn the car around. And then the other thing that was of note was there was people riding bikes beside me in the lane I was in. So another symbol for the heart. So all the dreams, the whole dream was saying, in essence, that my connection was affected by the dairy, and it affected my female energy, and kind of partially blocked or mostly blocked my connection. So really the simple solution, although I already knew it, the simple solution from the dream is quit the dairy, because then you'll be able to take the turns and follow the direction that you get from your guides. So very simple answer in a dream, but like I said, Heidi was able to give it to me the night before. So realize your dreams give you the answers to all your problems all the time. So let's have a look at some of the dreams you have sent in. And this one is called Lighter in Front of the Driveway. So we're using our symbol for the day in this one. And the dreamer says, it was night and day somehow. It's a very short dream. My out of control cousin, who's always in jail serving time for theft or other petty crime, was wrestling my therapist and me in our front yard driveway. He had a lighter in his hand. I knew I had to get it off him. He was trying to light it, but I knew our heads, or at least my head, would explode if I didn't stop him. We managed to get the situation under control. My therapist was sitting on top of him in the driveway, and my cousin's arm was folded underneath his own body. He couldn't move, so he couldn't light the lighter. Okay, so doesn't seem like a very nice dream, your head going to explode, but it's very straightforward. So night and day, but that's unusual. So this is kind of saying, this is kind of an obvious thing. This should be obvious to you. It's the difference between night and day. And you've got both at the same time, and you can't have both at the same time. So there's something you've got to deal with, and we know because we have the therapist and we have the other issues showing up. And then we have the out of control cousin. So this is saying this is something you need to get a handle on. You need to get something under control. The cousin's in jail all the time for theft. And theft in dreams seems negative, but in a dream it's not really negative. Now this one, ignore it, but theft is usually, people are usually afraid that somebody's going to steal something from their wallet, for instance. And the wallet, because we keep it close to our chest, is about the heart. And it's about not sharing yourself or not wanting to share yourself, share your feelings. So this dream is about, because we have the prison, the jail and the theft, is about, going to be about the dreamer's female side. And basically saying you need to get a handle on how to express your female side. So you got to deal with something that's coming up for you in your life. So she says, I'm wrestling my therapist in the front yard. So I always say the back of the house is to do with the past. On the front of the house, especially the front garden or front yard, the driveway right in front of the front door, is about your future or present. So this is something that the dreamer must do. And wrestling the therapist. Okay, so what has your therapist said you need to do? And the dreamer shared that the therapist had said she needs to deal with issues that make her angry, and gave her techniques for dealing with that. So it means two things. One, you're not sure whether your therapist gave you the exactly correct advice, but of course he did, because we have the therapist actually gets on top of the person at the end of the dream, gets on top of the issue, you could say. So so the therapist is saying you got to deal with that. It's in the present. This guy has a lighter in his hand. Was there anything else I wanted to say about that? No, he has a lighter. Oh yeah, so dealing with issues that cause you anger. So he's got a lighter in his hand. He's also an addict. Do you say that? Because you said it in your comments. You said he went, so he went to jail for theft because he stole things in order to get money to feed his addiction. So in this context, because an addict has the lighter, it's saying that you've got to deal with habits. So an addiction isn't necessarily something you ingest. It could be a habit that you've got from childhood, you know, maybe where you look for, you do particular things. You look for sympathy, whatever it is, play a victim card, whatever it happens to be. That's something you've got to get a handle on, because playing that card is what causes you to not be able to open up and make the connection that your guides really want you to make, or your higher self really wants you to make, because that's what this is about for you, is making a much stronger connection with your higher self. So the block shown in this dream is whatever it is you talked to the therapist about. I gave examples, but you'll know exactly what it is. So anyway, you say the therapist is wrestling. Have we covered all this front yard? Okay. So you had to get it off him, and that's fine. So you need to get the control of your intuition, or the control of your feelings, which is what the lighter represents because of the symbol of fire. You need to get that out of the addict's hand and into your hand where it's under your control. Female side, because remember, a man has it in the dream and you want to get it to where you have it. Then we have, you say your head's going to explode. So, okay, this has come up for you before in dreams about the possibility of stroke. So dreams will tell you where things are going very long-term future. And, you know, they will reveal what's going to take you off the planet. And a lot of people, you know, it's kind of funny. It's a huge section on my website, Dreams About Health, but they are the least hit. And I say this all the time. People are generally not interested in their health unless they already have the issue. So what I've started doing now is focusing on health issues and saying how that health issue, like I just did in my dream, a diet issue that affects my colon, how that inhibits my ability. So when I focus on it that way, people are more open to it. It just seems kind of nuts, but that's the way it is. So anyway, the head was going to explode if you didn't stop him. But you get it under control. Now it's fine that the therapist does it. So the therapist doing it in the dream means you're the one that's going to do it. You're going to get a handle on this, get on top of this by doing what the therapist said. So that's perfect. And notice, although you don't really describe it in the dream, by the therapist being on top of him and you say that he's got his arm folded underneath his own body. So the therapist is on his chest. So again, another symbol for the heart and your chest. And what else have we got? So really, the other thing is, why is it a man in the dream? And it's really saying, use logic or common sense to figure this out, how that you need to get on top of this, and it's going to be easy for you to do. So it's not even though it's frightening in the dream, there's nothing really difficult shown in the dream. There's no, I mean, you have the warning of the stroke, but there's nothing saying that this is not possible. It ends perfectly because you get it under control. So very good in the dream there. We have another dream. This comes from Janice, and she says, because the comments are first, I have to skip through. I was walking down the driveway with my dog and maybe my sister or 16-year-old daughter at the home where I grew up. So we'll have a look at this as I do it. So you say with your 16-year-old daughter, you also say in your comments that this is the house where you grew up, and that you talk about a traumatic incident in the location that appears in the dream when you were 13. So the dream is saying, okay, you need to go back to that age, and it's basically picking that as the timeline. But we would know that from your daughter being in the dream. She's 16 years old. You're not 100% certain she was there. It's either your sister or your daughter. So we know it's female side issues from that age. And the daughter, of course, then says, you know, you're the mom. So it's issues with your mom. Going back that age. And it's a home where you grew up, so that's good. So this is something you should be familiar with, which is what the dream is going to say, but we see some issues showing up later on here. You're also with your dog, and that's good in a dream because that's been, you know, the dog represents your animal side, your natural side, following your instincts, and so on. So we have a positive start, but of course it's going to take a turn. The driveway goes through the woods. Let's click on here. Driveway goes through the woods, and I saw that what I thought was a bear, and I said, we need to go back. But we got closer, and it was a golden retriever. So normally I would say woods and bears in the woods are going to be about problems with your elimination system. But because this is somewhere where you grow up, I can't say that in your case. I suspect then that the bear represents a fear. Because were you afraid of being in your own driveway when you grew up, where you grew up? And the answer is most likely going to be no, because you talk about playing there and so on. But anyway, you get closer to it and it's a golden retriever. And because we have the color golden, we know then that you're a hands-on healer. And that's what the dream is saying you need to get. You need to get back in touch with. And the retriever, of course, is also backs that up, that it's something that you need to get closer to And then you say, then I saw what I thought was a wolf carrying a small dead animal in its mouth. Then a skunk passed. So, okay, again, so we have the bear, we have a wolf with the dead animal in its mouth, and we have a skunk passing. All different threats, you could say. But again, I'm going to stick with, did that match the environment at the time? I'm not into wolves, but people who are always say that there's never any need to be afraid of a wolf. You know, if everything's normal in nature, they avoid you. And the same is true with most bears. And then the skunk and so on. So are they really threats? They're not trying to attack you in any way. These are your fears that are projected into the dream. So then we say, you got to the bottom of the drive, you see a baby on the road, and I'm going to stop hitting buttons here because I'm hitting the wrong ones. I pointed out to my sister and we ran to it. Suddenly we became, she has in brackets so she knows it's her sister now. She said, we became me, my sister, and maybe my other sister and my daughter. And we realized that there were two other kids there. My sister grabbed one of them and we were going to try call their parents. I think they were our neighbours, but I don't actually know them in waking life. She didn't know the number. I said, just call 911. Then I grabbed the smallest child and walked in the opposite direction. I started getting my phone out to call 911 and thinking maybe his or her parents were nearby or actually knew that they were playing there. So children in this context represent responsibility. So we know it's about you getting your healing ability back. We know it's about dealing with issues with your female side. Now, normally healing issues are connected with issues with dad, male side, but in your dreams, that's not the case. My sister grabbed one, so we see the female side going to help. And we know the lighter is going to come up because I said that's in the stream. So you're talking about getting in touch with your guides by calling 911. You don't know, the parents didn't know the kids were there. So again, issues with the parents. You started getting your phone out to call 911 and thinking maybe his or her parents were nearby and actually knew that they were playing there. I asked him if they knew, and the child said no. So again, it's about a disconnect with the parents. And you told me that your parents separated. You don't say it here, but in another comment, not in front of me, you say that your parents divorced at that time and your dad was trying to keep you from your mom and all that sort of stuff. And that is one of the connections with this driveway. Anyway, then instead of a phone in my hand, I was trying to light a lighter in the wind. Now it's in your hand, so notice the difference between the last dreamer and this dreamer. So the lighter in your hand is really good. So it's saying use your intuition to get yourself on track. But the wind, of course, is going to make it difficult to light the lighter. So it's saying an air, any things to do with the air represent your state of mind. So it's saying your state of mind affects your intuitive connection, and that's really what you've got to get a handle on. But it's your responsibility, and indeed you're doing it in the dream. You pick up the child to get the child and rescue your inner child from the age 13 to 16. But that's what you're doing. So it's really good. It's a good dream. Nothing stops you. The bear, the wolf, the skunk, none of those things stop you. And you actually do get to the child. So it has a very, very good ending. But like I said, it's a place you're intimately familiar with. So there should be no fears, but yet we still see them in the dream. So the fears are the thing for you that you need to overcome. What else do I need to do? And this dream is called Tarantulas Eating Goldfish. So I have all the numbers written on my sheet, and then I still press the wrong one because I'm not looking properly at the keyboard. Very short dream. You say, I looked at the ceiling in front of me and several tarantulas appeared. There was a rectangular aquarium filled with goldfish above me near the ceiling. The spiders jumped in the water and killed and ate all the fish. Then the spiders scattered and disappeared. I felt sad that the spiders destroyed the beautiful fish. So same dreamer. I wanted to do a few dreams because they're not all the clearest. This one is very clear. But in terms of lessons for other people, they're not always the clearest. So what have we got in this dream? We've got the ceiling, which tells us it's about a spiritual ability. And we have tarantulas appearing. Now tarantulas, spiders in dreams represent childhood fears. So we have the same thing coming up as the last dream, but in a much more clear way. There was a rectangular aquarium. So aquariums represent, and we had this on a show recently, represent a psychic ability because they're specifically built so you can see the animals inside, the fish and so on. So they always have lots of glass, and glass represents a psychic ability, which is what your lighter represented in the other dream. But this is filled with goldfish, and the goldfish represent your healing ability. So we had the golden retriever and now we have the goldfish. But what happens in this dream then is the spiders jumped in the water and killed and ate all the fish. So of course you can't lose your spiritual ability, so you still have a hands-on healing ability, but fears are blocking it. That's really what this is about. And that's what the spiders represent. Now the other thing is, because of their color, black and orange, it represents a career thing. So something to, why are you in the career you are in? Or and I asked you about this, but I didn't get enough of a back and forward to really get my finger on the pulse of exactly what the career thing is. You say you work as a scientist. The only thing about your job is there's quite a long commute, so you're too tired to do anything else. But still something makes you choose that career. And the reason black and orange represent career is black represents fears, orange represents ambition. So it's a drive or an ambition that's based in fear. And that's perfect for career, because most of us pursue a career that we hope will feed us, will give us a pension, will give us all the ability to stay not homeless, so to speak, whatever it happens to be. So we tend to pick things that aren't necessarily our passion, and we can get good at them, but they wouldn't be. If I said, okay, here's all the money in the world, if you were to take away all your vices, what would you do? What would you do then? And in your case, it would be that you need to get into spiritual healing, overcome whatever the fears are, and get into spiritual healing. So I wanted to say, you had another few comments on this as well. You said this dream had several sidebars. One included a similar spider and a fish scene. Another was me trying to get through downtown streets with a lot of people getting in my way. The people were dressed Goth style with a lot of black lipstick, coloured hair, earrings, etc. So we have the fears showing up there with the Goth style, the black lipstick and so on. The earrings represent an ability to hear your guides, which you've got. I don't know whether it's ever switched on for you. And then you say another part was me getting through a cave with another female, but I kept hitting dead ends. Choosing paths that led downstairs. To get out, I chose the blue route. So I said, okay, because you're with another female, and that's the female side, so it's about rescuing your female side. Here the cave represents being in the womb. So it says it goes back that far, even though we had another dream that was focusing on your teenage years. So it's a long period of time. But so you're trying to get downstairs, or they're leading downstairs, and you don't want to go downstairs, and that's about birth. And is there a downstairs in a cave? I've never heard that before. So it's still interesting, the symbolism you used, but all the dead ends that are there. And I wrote, and I asked you, what are the issues with your mom? Because, was the birth easy and so on? And this is quite funny. I said, going through a cave with a woman is about birth. Unless you're a twin, the woman represents your female side. Hitting the dead end isn't good. Going downstairs also represents birth and getting in touch with your female side. Did your mom have difficulties during your birth, like a long labor? So I'm trying to get to, why are you stuck in the womb, or what is the threat that's there? And you wrote back, okay, and this is the part that's kind of funny. Not funny if it's you, but it's okay. You say, my mom had difficulties in that she definitely didn't want a fourth child, which was me, and she confessed to me a few years ago that she tried to take a bunch of pills to abort me. The labour itself, I'm told, was very easy. Think about that for a second. So it's not that the labour was long, but your mom tried to kill you in the womb, and that's why we have you finding it difficulties in the womb. And that's where your issues with your mom are going to start. We often think children don't understand what's going on, but they're wide open. They're much more open spiritually than we are, and very open emotionally. And we see in your dream, you say you felt sad that the spiders were destroyed. So we know sadness then is one of the things that you must. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. It's certainly fun on my end, despite all the technical issues. If you like this video, please hit the like button on YouTube and of course subscribe to my channel. My next online course starts this Saturday, September 16th. You can get all the details at dream-analysis.com. I've also got a workshop in Las Vegas running from October 6th through October 8th. There's a really good price on that one. Friday evening through through Sunday evening. It's suited to anyone, but particularly suited to therapists who want to work with their clients' dreams. Again, details on my website with links below this video. In the meantime, realize the value in having a dream correctly interpreted and send your dreams to me via the show at dream-analysis.com. You're getting a serious value if your dream is picked, and you're getting valuable insights into the world of dreams regardless. Setting the record straight on dream interpretation, I'm Michael Sheridan, and I will see you next week.